Mace. T China. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? You already know who it is.
Hey, y'all. T China here with the T once again.
Okay, so we have a special guest. We have a special guest. We have a special guest. This is why. This I love him. I love him, and I know you all would do too.
Yes,
So we're gonna get
he's
into it.
definitely a fan
He's a
fave.
fan favorite. He's a
Everyone
fan
loves
favorite.
him.
Everybody loves him. So we're about to bring him up.
Purr.
Welcome. Hey,
What's
babe.
poppin'? How are
Hi
you?
guys. I'm great. I'm off from work, so I'm just lounging around naked in bed, enjoying the
Okay.
chilly New York weather.
We love to hear that. Okay.
Of course.
We love naked.
We love naked.
I love to be
Okay.
naked.
It's just the best way to live. You know what I mean?
It's
Yes,
so
and
free.
like when you wake up
It's
with your morning wood, you can take care of it immediately.
literally it's freeing. It's freeing. It's freeing.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. So
uh,
we want to get into
yeah,
before
we're like, let's get into
we're gonna get
this.
into
Let's
it.
do
But
it.
before we get into that, we're gonna get into like who you were before Zeus. Like, did you watch the Zeus shows? What show did you start watching? You know what I mean? Like, how did
Yeah.
you? Who was Dimitri before this, and what was his mindset with Zeus
Right.
before getting on Zeus?
And how
So,
did we get on Zeus? Like,
of course. All right, I'll
okay, let's
say it
get it.
as it
Let's get
is.
it.
So, I was familiar with the Zeus network, with Jocelyn's Cabaret, seasons 1, 2, and 3. My favorite is season 3, best hands down, the best
Okay,
season.
okay. Season
Season
I
three,
talked
three.
to a
yeah.
lot
I
of the
did
girls
like
on the
that one.
show.
It
Oh
was it
yeah,
was wild.
and then
That
I
one didn't have
also
no
watched
beginning,
like
right?
snippets of One More Chance, season 2, a little bit
Okay.
of season 1, but I like season 2 more. But that's how I know Zeus and how I got on the show. Well, I did follow the Zeus Network on Instagram, and there was a now casting for Bobby I Love You Purr, and I asked myself, you know what? Should I submit a tape for shits and giggles? And I'm like, sure, why not? So just how like this is one section. I live in a brownstone. One section of my house. I have a backdrop, and I made my casting tape like a little confessional. I had on a blue Zara crew neck, and I remember I was talking gibberish. I was like, "My name is Dimitri. I'm
Right.
25 years old. I'm from New York City, the greatest city in the world." And
Okay.
Bobby,
Okay.
yeah,
Right.
and just like what I said in my actual confessional on the show, I'm like, I'm well traveled. Bobby needs someone to show him all around international skies, not just domestically. He needs someone to challenge, like how I'm talking to you right now, like foolishly. That's why I was speaking in my confession. I pressed send, and I told myself, I'm like, they don't give a fuck about me. I get a call. I was at work. I remember this.
Okay.
I'm allowed to say names, right or no?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
This the T. Mason with
You're
the
All
T.
right. So I get a call,
yeah, you can.
and it's Mark. You remember who Mark was?
Oh yeah, I love Mark. Oh,
Yes. And Mark
oh my
goes,
God.
"Hi,
Wait.
is
Oh
this
shit.
Dimitri?" I'm like, "Yeah, who's this?" He goes, "This is Mark from the Zeus Network." And I'm like, "Oh." They're like, "Yeah, I saw your casting tape and you seem like really interesting." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Can I ask you a couple of questions?" I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "How old are you?" I said, 25. "What do you do for a living?" I said, "I work in fashion. I'm a client advisor, personal styling with sales."
Thank
He's
you.
like, "Where are you from?" Like, New York City. "Have you lived outside of New York?" I'm like, "Yeah, I lived in LA for 4 years for school. So I went to school. I went to Pepperdine and I had my degree in political science." He's like, "Why don't you do something with politics?" And I just told him, like, I don't really care to. He's like, "Have you ever been in a fight?" And I'm like, "Yes, I have been." He goes, "Are you proud of that?" I'm like, "No, I think violence is really tacky, but I'm about self-defense."
Right.
This is what really, like, I'm pairing the dots together. He asked me, and I'm not making this up. He goes, "What would happen if you got jumped, like randomly?" And I swear to God. And I asked him, I'm like, "Why the fuck would I get jumped? Like, I don't start fights." He goes, like, what if like two guys were to come at you like out of nowhere?" And I told him, I said, like, I would do my best, but I don't see why they would hit me in the first place. He goes, "Okay, just ask him." Like, all right, that's odd. Then he's like, "All
Red
right,
flag.
well,
Red
Red
flag.
flag.
Okay.
yes." Red flag. So after that, he's like, "Well, you seem pretty cool. If we give you a second call, that means we may want to consider you." And I interrupted him, like, "All right, so no response is a response if I don't hear back, right?" He goes, "Yeah." All right, bye. And I hang up the phone. I
Ooh.
get a second call. It's Monique.
Mm.
Monique is like, "Hey, Dimitri." I'm like, "Hi." She goes, yeah, I spoke to Matthew and he mentioned like, great things about you and I want to learn more about you. So just similar questions, name, age, my where I'm from, what I do for a living.
Thank you.
Okay.
But then she asked me, like, are you seeing anybody? Do you have a beau? What happened? This and that. And I just told her about like, bar hopping in West Hollywood, seeing different guys, the hookups, one
Okay.
night stands, the ghosting, the crying, just like raw
Hollywood,
emotions.
baby.
And she's like, all right, so you're pretty, like, you're genuine. I'm like, yeah, like, I'll wear my heart on my sleeve. Those are my exact words to her. She's like, okay, cool. And then she's like, if we give you a third call, you are almost at the finish line to the casting. She's like, if we don't call you back, you just didn't make it. I'm like, that's fine. I get a third call. It's a group call with Matthew,
Mm.
Monique, and LJ.
Ah.
So LJ goes, you know what, Dimitri, I checked out your Instagram. You got cute style. You like to travel. I love how you're all around the world. But I'm like 10% sure I don't want to cast you. And me, like, I don't have any entertainment background. Like, it didn't bother me if I didn't make the cut or not. Like, I didn't give a fuck. As to this day, I don't give a fuck. So I asked him, like, why wouldn't you not want to put me on the show? Not that I was defensive. He was like, you kind of give me Dylan vibes. And I'm like, all right, so Dylan's the wife boy from Bad Boys, who I love. Shout out to you, Willie. Shout out to you, Dylan. And he was just like, yeah, like, you just give me Dylan vibes. And I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, you walk the walk. No, you talk the talk, but you don't walk the walk. And I told him, I just said, so you're basically saying, like, I don't fight if I don't have to. He goes, kind of, and I'm like, well, no, like I've had my share of fist fights. It's just I don't like to be violent. Like I don't like it at all. I never said I was a WWE MMA motherfucker, but I've had my fair share of brawls. I've punched people in the faces. I've thrown drinks at them. Like I pulled hair. It is what it is. He's like, all right, well, that's reassuring to know.
Okay. That's
And I told him, I basically said, like, listen, if you want me, I'm available. I'll ask my boss if I could take time off to film the show. And I said, if my boss says no, I'm not going to jeopardize my documented income for like 5 minutes on a show. He's like, all right. And if you do get casted, would you be able to make it work? And I'm like, I think so. So I'm back at work. This is 3 days after that call. And it's Mark. And I remember his words exactly. Mark goes, hey, Dimitri, we gave Pepperdine a call, and they said you didn't graduate. And I'm like, well, that's true because I have my degree in my living room. He goes, perfect. Keep that same energy and anger because we're casting you for the show. I'm like, yay, woohoo. So I go to my boss, and I'm like, boss, listen, I'm giving you a 10-day notice. I got cast to do a TV show. I think it's a really exciting opportunity. I want to give it a shot. And then she's like, what do you mean? And I asked her, I'm like, have you ever seen, Flavor Flav, Rock of Love back in the early 2000s? She goes, oh my God, you're going to go on a fighting dating show? And I told her, I said, well, I'm not going to fight. I don't want to. Lo and behold, I fought. But yeah. And she's like, all right, well, be safe and just don't mention where you work. I'm like, obviously, I'm not going to mention the brand where I work for. So, and she was like, how is this going to work out? And I told her, there are 3 ways. I get kicked off the show for fighting, which did not work, or did not happen. And I told her, I will text you, I'm coming back to work. Put me back in the schedule. 2, I eliminate myself. I quit voluntarily, and I go back to work. And that's what I did. Or 3, I win the competition, and then I go back to work. So regardless of what the situation was going to unravel, I was still going back to my everyday job. So it wasn't going to change me. I do get recognized every single day in New York, outside New York. Like, I was in Puerto Rico for Thanksgiving. I was recognized. Everyone knows.
Oh, my God.
I am friendly. I am sweet. If anybody wants a picture, I will happily take one in a heartbeat. I will give a hug. But what touched me the most was the second week after it aired, I went by the World Trade Center. There's like a little Chick-fil-A. I got some food, and the cashier forgot to give me a fork, which is fine. So I went to Haagen-Dazs, the ice cream parlor, and I went to the cashier. Hey, sorry to bother you. I'm not getting anything, but could I have like a plastic fork? And I kid you not, I have her on my Instagram. The girl cupped her mouth with her hand. She goes, oh my God. And I'm like, girl, why are you panicking? She goes, yeah. I'm like, yes, that's me. So she was crying. She was jumping up and down. She wanted a hug. She was like, I saw myself through you. I used to get bullied when I was younger. And when I saw you fight back, and I told him, like, yes, it's okay to be crying and vulnerable, but, like, just don't condone it. Like, so that's why, from the show, when I was getting snuck on, I'm like, this is not, like I was punching them back, I was pulling their hair.
Right.
I didn't want to go on the show to fight. Like I don't like fighting, but at the end of the day, we all know what the network is
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
Okay.
so it is
exactly.
what it is.
You do.
Um,
You do.
I fight
Like,
back.
but yeah,
I fight
that's how
back.
I got on the show.
okay. So you like basically told us, what you were doing before and everything. I want to get into that. Like, so now we got to dive into when you were in the house. Okay, so with them like saying, you'll be kind of like another Dylan. Like, so were you like already going in like expecting yourself to kind of be like on board? Like,
Yes and no. I'll explain everything right now. So, like Mason knows, they fly us out from our respective cities to Miami, and then the car picks us up to go to the hotels.
right?
I was one of the last guys to arrive. A lot of the guys I remember, it was Trizzy, Mikey, I think Earl, but definitely Rel. They were all in the lobby. Me, I was very friendly. Hi, nice to meet you.
We should
ABC
have probably used
XYZ.
nicknames. Whenever I use people's real names, they'd be like, "Who?" And I'd be like,
Exactly. Um,
Yeah. Let's
Mikey,
do the yeah.
because she's over here
Mikey
like
invited me. He
Not
goes,
Trizzy,
me.
Go Hard. Wait, what's his name? I'll be getting them hoes mixed up. Trizzy is Dingaling.
Mm-hmm.
yes. So Mikey invited me. He was like, "Oh, we're gonna go smoke and watch
Thank you,
baddies. You
Con.
should come." And I just said, "No, I'd rather not. I want to shower. I want to prepare my outfits. Like, I just want to chill." And it wasn't me like thinking, "Oh, I'm better than them. I don't want to connect." No, like you get off a plane, you feel gross as fuck. You want to wash your ass.
Yeah,
So I went
they
to the
all were trying to
room,
be like brothers and hang out and stuff. I was like,
And
which
I
I
stayed in
didn't
my
mind. Like, I'm
room.
very friendly. I don't mind. But when I get off a flight, I want to wash my asshole.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I get to the room, I take a shower, I unpack my entire 2 suitcases. Like, I make the confessional outfits, the going out outfits,
Okay.
etc. Like, just listening to
He
what the
said,
list
"I'm
they
getting
sent
myself
us.
together."
Right.
So
Okay.
then, I go to the pool, I chillax. The guys are there. I'm like, all right, cool. They're smoking. I don't smoke. They go back to watch baddies. I swim. I explore Miami, even though I know Miami very well. I grab a bite to eat, and I'm back. We come back to the lobby. Day 2. This is where it all goes downhill. So we're given free time again, and we were needed to do like the confessionals. Like my name is blah blah blah. I'm 25.
Okay.
So
Did you
that's
love
when
doing
I'm
the
wearing the
confessionals?
long sleeve brown shiny
Did you
shirt.
love doing the confessionals?
No, actually, I did not
Really?
I feel like confessionals are like the
That's my
best
favorite
part.
part. Right.
because whatever
Everyone
I
just
wanted
talks
to say,
bullshit. No
they
one's gonna
made
be
me
interrupted.
revise my language and my tone. Like it was really annoying.
Mm.
Like I hate repeating myself. That was one of my biggest pet peeves. So I listen. This is not acting, nor do I have any entertainment experience. But if I'm saying the same words over 7 times, it's really fucking frustrating.
That part. Wait,
And
so I
I'm
have a
not trying
question.
to
Did
be
you
a
know who Bobby
diva,
was
this and
before
that. It's
this?
just I hate repeating myself.
You heard me?
Would say it again?
I said I have a question. Did you know who Bobby was before this?
Of
Did you
course.
watch?
I used to watch. I still watch Love and Hip Hop to this day. I remember him when he was.
Okay, that was her.
Bobby and I are 7 years apart. I'm 7 years younger. Bobby's 32. I'm 25, and I remember watching him in 2017, like throwing drinks, throwing plates, just like being a rambunctious guy, which is fine. But I knew who he was. He's Trina's cousin, though.
So
Wow.
were you excited? Were you excited to be like when you found out it was Bobby? Were you excited? Like, were you super just ready for it? Like all in? Like I'm gonna go get my man's.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited. Like, I was willing to
Is this the
compete.
honest truth, or
Is
is
this
it
right?
the
Like, is
commercial
Yes,
this
answer?
this is the honest
Yeah.
truth. Like, I don't like,
Yes,
as
I
everyone knows,
wow. I
I
did
don't
watch
do
it and I support
OnlyFans. I
him.
don't do webcam. I don't come from any entertainment related back. Like I was surprised I got casted. Like I spoke about feeling lonely. I had a boyfriend for a good chunk of time when I was in Los Angeles for school. I met him in West Hollywood. He lives in Miami now. But like I never come to touch with him. It's just you grow apart. He dumped me. So when I got casted, I'm like, yeah, give it a shot. Like I didn't care to not get casted, but when I was casted, was I excited 100%? I gave it my all. What I don't appreciate is how they just wanted to set me up for spontaneous violence, and the whole audience was like, "What the like? Nothing is making any sense," which it wasn't.
Yeah, a lot of it
Right.
wasn't making sense. That's why another
Thank
one of the
you,
Wasn't.
reasons why I had to
And
leave.
it was
thank
just
you.
Also, I'm there for
irritating.
2 weeks and we're not doing nothing but fighting.
Right. It was irritating that it was just like everyone kept coming at you, and I'm like, why? Leave the white
Thank
boy
you.
alone. Leave him alone. I did. I was like, leave him alone. Okay, I got one more question. Okay, not to be messy, not to be
No, not at all. Whatever
But
you want.
how did you feel when Mr. TBD himself called you the house pet?
The look up.
Honest to God, like it did insult me because Rel before called me the stepchild in his confessional. So from stepchild to house pet, it didn't really irritate me. I didn't feel sad or offended. I think whatever. I don't know if everyone got the hang of it, but from my impression, I was just really frustrated with how I was in a fucking hotel every fucking night.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, that is tea right there. You were in a hotel every night.
Yes, I'm not making this
They
up. Even
treated you like
Mason
Bad
knows.
Girls Club, like, oh, you
They
fight
treated him
too
like a
much.
house pet.
They,
They
you're a,
did. They were so recent. I didn't look at you as that, but I was just
No,
like,
I
oh
know, I
shit,
know.
I love you. But that really was like he was treated wrong. Like he didn't get the same experience that we got.
really?
No, he didn't. He wasn't in the house. He wasn't around us. Kept getting sent back to the hotels. Like no one was giving him a
Why?
chance. Like the producers was mean to him. Like there was so much he had to deal with.
That's so sad. I'm so sorry that like you had to go through that. Like everyone in the house should have got the same
Between
experience,
us three,
hands
and
down.
you
You know
could
what I
share this to
mean? If you're
anyone,
a part of cast, you should have got that
had
same
I
experience.
not gone ghost and booked my own flight back to New York, because as we all
He had to
confirmed,
send himself back home.
nothing was making any sense. So no. So I got into like the most fights, unfortunately. And the last fight, they put me in the hotel and I was able to get my suitcases. And I sat in the hotel and I asked myself, do I want to consistently be picked on and then, ridiculed for fighting back? Or just go back home and live my normal life? Because remember,
Right.
from the beginning, I never gave a fuck to get casted or to not get casted. I don't
Okay.
care. I don't.
It's
Okay.
here or
So
there. Right.
that's it. I went home on my own dime.
Okay.
Okay.
I
So
hear that. One and
my,
done, baby.
one and done. My question is, what's next for you? Like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to stick to reality? Do you want to get to acting? Do you want to model? Do you have any upcoming projects?
I
Like,
mean, we do have some tea. Like you are what is it? A professional trainer, right?
no, bitch,
Oh,
you getting the wrong
we
person.
need to know, bitch.
You gotta hit that out. He's like, he's supposed to. That's I guess.
Okay,
That's
I
wrong one,
mean,
wrong one,
so
wrong.
now we gotta hit that. We gotta hit
I'm
that.
just
Okay,
working my normal fashion gig. So would I do another show? 100%. But I think everyone knows, like, and this isn't me being a diva. I don't beg to be on shows. I don't reappear. I'll just submit a tape. If I hear back, amazing. If no response is a response, that's okay too. I'm not mad.
okay, I hear you. So you're just kind of looking.
Yes.
You're just looking for the next little big thing right now, like to come, or you just like if it comes my way, hey, I'll hop on board.
Thank you. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, but you're not gonna be like
Actively.
going to go look for there's Dosh Network coming out. Like there's so many other things in other networks you can be a part of in other projects.
You know what just like really makes me upset?
Ooh,
I mean, the whole world knows this, and I'm glad that they were on my side. There were these false accusations of racism, white privilege, and let's dive into a little more, intimately. So, with the whole racism situation, I think everyone knows because the fans are on my side. I never degraded any of the cast members for their racial background. I'll be honest. When I had too much to drink at the bar, it was me, Cash, other people because we were all quiet, and I'm like, let's do an icebreaker. Because I'm like, where do we want to
right.
stop? And I was like, oh, I like your shoes. And it was a heartless joke. I was like, oh, like a Payless shoe. Like I remember doing the shoulder thing, and like I burst into tears laughing because it was just so funny. And then Earl was like, I mean, Cash was like, and I'm like, my man, it's just a joke. I know they're not Payless. And this wasn't, because he
I,
looks
you
rough.
know,
What
no,
was
literally
that?
though,
What
seriously
was
though, when
that?
he, because I just thought of like, it
I
just,
saw it.
you saw my face, like, because that, like, literally, like,
He killed
I
it.
just never met anyone that bragged about wearing $100 shoes. Like, the shoes I was literally wearing was what, 430, almost $500 I was wearing that same day. So when he was like, oh, my shoes are $100, I was just thinking in my head, like, okay, like,
Literally,
my meal was $100. Like,
yeah.
what do you mean? Like, look,
And then on top
so
of
I
that,
felt what you were
The
coming from. He's
bottle is
like, the
$100.
bottle's $100. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Like, so I felt what you were coming from, and you were like, it was funny. Would you say I didn't think
yeah.
anything wrong? Like, I didn't think anything. I told people about countless of times. There's nothing that you ever said that I felt like was wrong. I thought it was funny. It was something that I thought,
Yes.
and I felt like if I would have said it, it'd have been different because my skin is darker than yours. You know what I mean? So
That's a good topic to talk about. Like
And then
you,
secondly, on the bus, when I said that infamous comment, all you're going to show was the metro and the district. Colgate, he was like, oh, it's a microaggression because, he's going to show him a pocket of DC. No, I'll tell you all what the joke was, and I've said it
White
countless
people get on the
times.
fucking train.
I lived in DC for school. I did a Pepperdine Abroad domestic political science program. So when I saw that he was from DC, I'm like, let me do a funny joke. So the joke was, all you're going to show him is like the metro of DC. I could have been like, you're going to show him the metro to go to like, National Mall, the White House. It's kind of like saying
Okay,
you're going to show him
weird.
the other
I'm not
foot.
gonna lie.
He was
Ever since
like,
after
oh,
you,
all he's going to, Dimitri's going to show Bobby Times Square, like something stupid, like a Bay City attraction. That's all it was.
Right.
right.
Okay,
It's
That
not
period.
that
racist.
comment got me after. Look, sometimes I'll catch a train now. Okay, after you said that, the metro in the district, I don't catch no. I was
He's like, you won't be catching me
you
out
ain't catching me. You
here,
heard
the
Dimitri said,
metro, right?
okay.
You heard what Dimitri said. Right? Look it, we're gonna take a cheers to that. You heard what Dimitri said.
You did your shit. You really did your
And
shit, and I'm
I
proud
take
of
the
you.
subway every
You
day in
didn't
New
have
York City.
you didn't have to be there the whole season to make an impact. You were there for what 2 episodes, and you're more liked than the people that were there all the way to the end.
I'm still like in shock that you had to fly yourself back.
And you know what's so
So
crazy? I said that to Zeus. I was like, I don't trust y'all. I don't want to. I feel like y'all would leave us stranded. And they're like, what? We would never do that. And the next day, I found out you flew yourself back. I was like, this is what I'm talking about.
no, I'll
Right.
There's no
clarify.
reason
Right.
why this.
Right.
There's
So
no reason why this man should be flying himself back home.
No way.
I'll be honest. I just like I told you on the bus before we started filming. My favorite airline is always JetBlue. I have the credit card,
Every time I see JetBlue, I think about you.
and I rack up the points. So when I told myself I don't want to do this anymore, like I'm over it, I sent Matthew, Monique, and Mark a text message, and I said, "Listen, after careful reflection in my room, nothing is making any sense. I do not want to be jumped again." And I told them, I said, if you want to make it seem like the weak white boy narratives, like I told them, do whatever you want with the footage. I'm not sad. Like I want to be left alone. So
Right.
then I had my credit card with the points. It only cost me $60 to go from
Oh,
Miami to JFK, New York. And I
Mm.
texted my boss. I said, boss, this TV shit is like a mess and a half. I'm coming back to New York. So when I'm
okay.
at the terminal, I get two missed unknown phone calls and I ignore them. The third one was an LA area code, and they said it's definitely one of the producers.
Mm.
So
Of
it was
course.
Mark. Mark is like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, who told you can book your own flight? And I'm like, me, I'm a grown man. He goes, you're leaving? I'm like, nothing is making any sense. I don't want to be here.
Okay.
He goes, you're in breach of contract. Then Lemuel jumps on board. Lemuel's like, oh, you're an internet thug. I'm like, how am I an internet thug? And then he was like, because I did say something. I told Matthew, the next time I see you on North Robertson Boulevard, I'm going to drag you by your hair. Like, which I did say that. I did. I'm a man of my word. Because Matthew set me up to get jumped. So I told
He tried
myself,
to set
this
me
is
up to
like,
the get jump.
yeah. So Lemuel was like,
This
oh,
is the
you're an
tea,
internet
y'all.
This
thug.
is the tea.
This is the tea right
I'm not
here.
making this up. And then I'm like, I'm not an internet thug. He goes, yeah, you guys take it to drag. He goes, why don't you come back right now and drag him? Like, I'll Uber you right now. And I told him, so I could get jumped again? I don't think so. And he goes, yeah, you're really not about that life. And I was like, yeah, I'm weak white boy. I said, like, yeah, I'm weak white boy. He goes, we know you. I'm like, good. So then he's like, he tried to guilt me. He goes, I picked you out of thousands of guys. And I told him, I don't care. That's fine. Get a replacement. That's okay. And
Maybe
he's
trying to do the
like,
vanity thing.
he goes, you're really going to do this? And I'm like, yeah, I booked my own flight. Like, I don't care. And he's like, wow. And I'm like, Mr. Plumber, I don't really give a fuck.
That's what Bobby did when I left too, because I planned on leaving for like 2 days, and they wasn't trying to let me leave. They're like, "You're not going anywhere," so that's why I got to my fights, because I was like, at this point, I was like,
Okay.
I'm being kidnapped. I'm a little scared. I said I'm ready to leave. They said,
Yeah,
no,
what?
I did. I was scared. I said I'm ready to go. They said,
Not
no, you're not
Zeus
leaving
holding
nowhere.
y'all
I was like,
hostage.
what? I said I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
This is
So
the
I
tea,
just
I
went
y'all.
was
home.
scared.
That's it.
I could show y'all text messages. I
Y'all
was
wanna hop
scared.
on all these shows
I was
and
texting my grandma and shit.
oh, not Granny. Grandma, I need to put the light. Grandma. Okay,
Literally.
but no, but okay, I understand. So it was a you decision. That's why you were like, "Hey, I'm paying for my own flight. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
even
didn't give
gonna."
a fuck.
You didn't even like have a conversation with them before paying for it. You were like, "This is what I'm doing. I'll let you know."
And
I
on
feel like
top
me
of
and
that,
you were
let's
the only two that
rewind.
didn't sell our souls.
Um, the outfit that I wore, the pastels, turquoise, and the shorts, that ripped, as
Mm.
everyone can see. So not that I'm being cheap, but I was never reimbursed for my two ripped outfits. I was also never reimbursed for my checked bags going to Miami from New York.
Mm.
Are you
I'm not
serious?
making this up. No.
This is terrible. I don't know why people love to hop on Zeus Network. This is terrible. But thank you for the tea.
And on top of
Like,
that,
y'all is
they
like
never
really
asked for my
good.
government ID. So again, like I said, I've never done entertainment or TV work before, but I've worked in fashion, PR, that kind of. Any job that I've obtained, I've been working since I was 16, so for 10 years. I turned 26 this August. Any job I've obtained, they always ask for your direct deposit slip, your driver's license, or your passport. They didn't ask cock. I remember after I got casted, I told Mark, "Oh yeah, I'll send you a picture of my driver's license." "Oh, we don't need that. We don't need that." I'm like, okay. So how do you know I'm actually 21 and up to participate? Exactly, you don't.
Right, that
And then
part.
secondly, anybody can alter a flight passenger information.
Yeah, you're supposed to get a background check before you ever go on any real actual TV
Any
show.
reality, yes, you should be getting
You're
back
supposed
checks
to like.
because this is the thing. Like, like just like they didn't get your ID, they didn't get Trizzy's dingling. They didn't get dingling's ID, and someone say he might be felony. Like, okay,
Look like
it
it.
looked like it. No, for real.
Looks on for real.
No, for real.
He like he on the
Y'all could have
run.
been in the house with a killer.
Probably was. We just don't know. So
Y'all,
who do you
for
talk to
everyone who
now?
wants to, yeah, for everyone who wants to be in reality TV, just make sure you do your research on that
Even
network.
doing your research don't do shit because I be telling people so many times like, yeah, you sit here and watch these networks, but you don't know what the fuck we go through, and they be like, oh yes I do. I see. No, you don't know. You don't
You
know.
don't.
I've had this conversation with some people times since the show came out. They be like, oh I know. I see the. No, you see what it's edited and you see a storyline. You don't know what went through before that scene. You don't know the hours of what
Right.
happened before that scene. You don't know what happened right before we filmed. You don't know
Hours.
what they're not showing y'all. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of shit that went on off camera that no one has any
I
absolute clue.
hate when it's so much stuff off camera more than on
And
camera.
then people think we
Like
filmed that show
drama
every
more
day.
off
It
camera.
was drama more off camera. Felt like people thought that we filmed that show every single day. We had days off. We didn't film every day. You know what I mean? Like so
Mm,
much shit. People didn't think they know how you left. You know what I mean?
right,
They
and
didn't
they
even show how
don't.
you really left. They didn't show how you had them run around the whole town, how they were sitting there because they were filming it. They were filming when they were arguing with you on the phone. They were filming all that shit, but they never aired it. They like there's a lot of shit. Shit, I didn't even live the same day I fought. You know what I mean? Like so people don't be getting what we really go through.
But thank you so much for hopping on here with us and
Of
sharing your
course.
story,
Of
like,
course.
and being able to tell like your fans, and tell our fans the real and the tea, like, cause you brought it, baby.
So,
But
is there anybody else you talk to on the show at all?
yes,
Just
that you keep in
you.
contact with.
Gang shit.
No, I'll go. Listen, I'm not. This is not being me being an internet thug or me throwing shade. I'll go through every cast member. Um, Mikey, I do not have him on social media. I've actually texted him. I just don't want to be your friend after watching the episodes and, trying to justify why he would run up on me because I asked him to be my Sukihana. Like, that doesn't trigger any sexual assault. So even the whole world was like, why is he running up on, like, nothing is making any sense. But I'm not mad at him. I don't dislike him. I just don't want to be his friend. Um, the Houston boys, Rel, um, Hot Wheels. Again, I don't hate you. I don't dislike you. I'm never going to see you again, so it's fine. Um, Island Boy, I'm just very confused because when I met him in the hotel, he actually came to my room and he asked me how was wearing a Louis Vuitton vest, and I told him, I said, you can't wear that. He goes, why not? And I told him it's a logo. They're gonna blur out the LVs. It's not gonna look good. Remember, stick to solid
They had me
colors.
wearing my shirts inside out and all type of shit.
Yes. So that's my only communication with this man. And from there, that's when he helped jump me with cash and then he ran up on me at the reunion. I don't know what the issue is with me between me and him because all I told him was, you can't wear that vest. That's what I said to trigger you.
Well, I've been wanting to
It's
have beef with you for camera time.
yes.
And then, but again, like, I'm not being an internet thug. I'm not your friend, nor do I want to be. So, check mark. Trizzy was always very nice to me. I never had an issue with
He
him,
was
but
the nicest in the
again,
house.
I'm never going to see him again. So, be well. Um, Cash, again, I'm not mad. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him. He snuck me. I hit him back. I threw alcohol in his eyes. He got a mark. I don't really care. So
They didn't
He
even show.
lost.
They showed him sneaking you. They didn't even show how his face was red.
It was. No, I saw the redness.
Yeah,
His shirt was red.
shirt
And
was
He
yeah,
was
red.
mad. They didn't show how
yeah.
when you two fought. You was like, I'm trying
Um,
to dance.
what was I gonna
I was like,
say?
why didn't they show
Yes.
that? Why didn't
It's
they show
fine.
that?
I'm not mad. I sounded Colgate. I always thought he was very cute. I always thought he was very cute.
Mm.
So
I forgot
when
all about him.
when he hit me right here,
Oops.
I was like, I got to get my licking. So I punched him. That's when I punched him in the eye 3 times.
Yeah, honestly, I really don't talk to any of them. Maybe on like 2 people, but I
I
talk to
don't
you
hate them.
mostly.
Listen, I do not hate anybody. I do not dislike anybody. As everyone sees, I don't mention the show on my Instagram, nor will I ever mention. Like, I don't care. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like. I'm booked
Okay,
and busy.
Just
I'm
like we all
working
had to work
almost every
together.
day.
We all had to work together.
Of course.
just
That's how
coworkers.
we just
Yeah,
co-workers.
and literally after we're done filming, after we're done,
Sayonara.
exactly, and have a great life.
That's it.
Nice working with you.
Yeah.
See you if I do.
Okay.
But this has
But yeah,
been
this
a
was
lot of good
good, right?
tea you
Okay,
have gave
yes.
us.
I'm glad you had to come here because I don't think you have any interviews out yet, huh? Okay, that's me. We got this.
Okay,
Listen.
yes. Thank you for coming to our
Thank you for
podcast. We
Of
coming.
course.
definitely appreciate you telling your story.
Mhm.
Anytime.
Yes, I love you,
I
and
love
I'll
you
talk to you
too.
soon.
Yes,
We
indeed.
love you.
Love
Have
you
a great
too.
day.
Wait, tell them your Instagram.
Yeah, tell
Where
me
to
your
Oh,
find you.
Instagram.
at Demetrius Costas V.
Okay, make sure y'all
Okay.
check him out.
And any other else you got? Like you got Twitter.
No Twitter.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
me
boring.
either.
I'm boring.
Okay, sound boring. All right, well, thanks for having us. We'll
You're the
definitely be doing
best.
things again. We're gonna be working together. Like,
Absolutely.
Yes.
yeah,
Maybe
enjoy
take
your
a
day.
trip to New
We're
York.
gonna be
Oh,
out in New York.
maybe. I'd like
Yeah,
that.
you gotta show me around Brooklyn.
Period.
Happily. I will.
The best white boy to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We love
I love
you.
you too, guys.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Okay, so
That was great.
that was yeah. Well, thanks for watching. You already know where to find me. They love Mason.
Okay, and if you guys don't already know, Sorry T China, you can follow me at what_God_gave. My presence is a present. Give it we love you guys.
Subscribe, thumbs up.
Until next time, we have another special guest. So.
T China.